getting harder and harder to get 10s. Like, it's actually an accomplishment getting a tag 10. It's not given like a CGC 10. It is not chosen at random like a PSA 10. Like, getting a tag 10 is literally earned. So you might be sitting there thinking, wow, I really just waited 3 to 4 months from PSA to get my cards back, and thank God I didn't get upcharged. What does that mean? Well, if you didn't get upcharged and you sent some cards for grading, obviously your cards came back as a 9 or below, right? So you're thinking, what do I do next? Do I crack some of these cards and maybe cross grade with tag and see how they do? Well, I mean, honestly, fantastic. I mean, that's what I do, just so I can get information. So if you're looking to get a little bit more information about that and just hear me talk about it, this is a place for you. So that's what I did. I went ahead and sent 8 cards to tag grading, where most of them were cracked PSA 9s, and I sent them for grading. Now, whenever you're doing this, I want you to be extremely careful, or don't do it by yourself. And this is what I mean. If you got some 9s in your collection, some PSA 9s, and you want to go ahead and try tag, before you do so, I want you to get those slabs, take them to a friend who's into collecting as well. Have them look at them. Have them give it to multiple people. Do it to like 2 people and see what they say. Outside from that, once you do that, whenever you have other people, multiple eyes at the card, because here's the thing, you might have a card in your collection and you're biased. You're gonna be biased to your card. You might be thinking like, dang, I know this card is a 10. But it doesn't hurt to ask someone else in the hobby, right? Especially when it comes to grading, you want to be careful, right? You don't want to just send anything for grading if you're looking to increase the amount of your collection. So have other eyes look at your cards. The next thing that I would recommend is, obviously, whenever you crack them, look at them again. Look at them again, but this time I want you to not focus so much on the basic things. We're not talking about the edges. We're not talking about the whitening. We're not talking about centering. I want you to really look at surface lines and print lines, because that's what's going to be killing most of these cards. If you send them to tag grading, the scan really picks on them. Be extremely picky. Really be picky, because the scanning, the AI is getting better and better with every single grade, and it's getting harder and harder to get 10s. Like, it's actually an accomplishment getting a tag 10. It's not given like a CGC 10. It is not chosen at random like a PSA 10. Like, getting a tag 10 is literally earned. So look at the cards front and back. Look for any print lines, for any impact lines, look for any scratches, any dents. Look for all that stuff. And the last thing that I want you to do before you send that card for grading through tag is go to tag's website and look at the population report. Look at the population report so you can see what the gem rate on that card is. The gem rate is not going to be very hard to figure it out. Honestly, I would imagine that this is one of the things that tag would have in their dig report would be the gem rate. It's nothing but data, right? But if you need to figure it out, just look at your tag 10s, press your pristine 10s, divide that by the total amount of cards submitted, and then you'll get your gem rate, like how often this card comes back as a 10. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to talk about 8 cards. Some of them are bangers, some of them for my PC, but you know, at the end of the day, whenever you are grading and you're collecting the cards for your collection, grade what you want as much as you want to collect what you want. Not everything should be graded, not everything, you know, but whatever you grade, just understand the preference might only be yours, right? So you might be the only person that's really into these cards. So as we talk about these cards, you're going to see a little bit of my collection, a little bit of my style and what I like, right? So starting off with one of my favorite cards of all time, and that is going to be a Gen 1 Pokemon. We're talking about the only fire Pokemon that you can get on Leaf Green if you're playing on the Switch, and that's going to be Ninetales. The Ninetales from Obsidian Flames or Ruler of the Black Flames. For others, it's going to be the Ruler of the Black Flames because I collect Japanese. So, my Ninetales. This was a PSA 9. I went ahead and cracked it, and guess what? It came back as a 10. And honestly, I'm super stoked about that. Whenever we're looking at the gem rate on these cards, whether Japanese or English, right? Just understand that Japanese cards, you'll have an easier time of getting 10s. or you should have an easier time of getting 10s if you're doing the bare minimum. As for this Ninetales, it has a gem rate of 70%, and there's currently 3 pristine 10s out there of this Ninetales. So mine, it's not a pristine, but it's a tag 10, and honestly I'm super stoked about it because it's one of those cards that I think is absolutely beautiful and I want to add to my collection. Now, another card that I really want to add to my collection as a tag 10, but I'm going to probably be heavily buying as long as this card is under $15, that's going to be the Oricorio EX. Now, the Oricorio EX, ours came back as a tag 9, and well, on this card, I'm not surprised, but the gem rate is around 46%. This card has a 46% rate of getting a tag as a tag 10. There is currently 1 pristine 10 out there. But once again, why is this card so hard to gem rate? 40%, 46% is not bad. That's almost 50-50, right? But these cards have pretty bad centering. We're talking about really bad centering left to right, and then the other thing is going to be some whitening and some edging, just because they're promo cards. Now understand that, look, if you are opening the Charizard UPC and you have a copy of the Oricorio EX, and if that one already has a dent, there's a good chance that the attack rare Charizard from the Charizard UPC promo is also going to be dented. So here's the thing: if you have a UPC, like, I wouldn't buy it. I mean, don't buy it in order to grade these cards. Look for them out in the secondary market. Just remember, if you see like the sleeve Mega Charizard EX attack rare, the Oricorio is right behind it. So if some vendors don't know, you might possibly be able to get 2 cards for the price of 1. But if they're smarter than that, I mean, which they kind of are, you know, don't think you're gonna get lucky with that. So next card, my collections, I like to collect a lot of promos, and the next one that I went ahead and cracked from the PSA 9 is the Arceus V. So this card, this Japanese promo, came back as a tag 9, and this card has an 83% gem rate. So seriously, there you go, the PSA 9 that I had was a PSA 9, and honestly, sometimes like, I wanted to get this order out with my friends, and I saw the upside on this card. There's a potential upside of this card. It's not humongous, but it's a Japanese promo card. And then I'm like, I think it's a fantastic card to kind of like just look at the black borders. So whenever I was sending it to grading, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna get a 10, right? But looking at those black borders, damage is you're gonna be able to see whitening way faster than your regular gray borders or your regular yellow borders, right? So I'm like, let's see how it picks up the border damage of these cards, and it's not bad. Like, doesn't really pick it up. But the one thing that I did miss is there was a big print line going across the card, you know, vertical. So horizontal. So yeah, I'm an idiot, but it's a Japanese card. Has an 83% gem rate. So if you have a copy of this, there's a pretty good chance that it could be a possible tag 10. And then this card does have 10 pristine 10s out there. So even then, there's a pretty good healthy supply of pristine 10s. But at the same time, you know, this is a Japanese promo card. This is a Japanese card. They're usually in better conditions. As for the next one, another Japanese card. We're talking about the Celebi Venusaur from Tag Bolts. Now, this one came back as a tag 9. This card has a 64% gem rate currently with tags, so there's a pretty good chance that your copy, if you have you have stuff like this, which honestly I kind of doubt, because it seems like in this big boom, a lot more people were focusing on English. Not a lot of people were collecting Japanese prior than the big boom of 2025. So these Japanese cards could be a little bit harder to get, you know, even though they have better quality control. Not a lot of people in the United States collect Japanese cards, so there's something that you could possibly have in your collection. So just think about that. But yeah, our Celebi Venusaur was a PSA 9. Whenever we cracked it and graded through tag, it came back as a tag 9. We're looking at a gem rate of 64%, and there's currently only 2 pristine 10s out there. So, you know, still, There's only 2 pristine 10s out there, so maybe if you walk around a show and you see it, it's like, hey, I know there's only 2. It might be at a reasonable price. Maybe consider picking it up if you like those kind of cards, and if you don't, like, maybe consider grading it and moving it to increase value to your collection. Now, big fan of promo cards, and as I'm going to try to complete the Shrouded Fable promo card, which is going to be the Greninja and the Kingdra, which I've talked about it before. The next one is going to be the Kingambit. Now, this Black Star promo, the Kingambit, it's going to be kind of hard to get at a 10, but you know, ours came back as an 8.5. Now, the gem rate on this card is 38%, so this is going to be one of the lower gem rate cards that we have in our list for today. But it is going to be a promo card. It is for Shrouded Fable, which there's not going to be a lot of copies out there because it wasn't just mass printed. It is a great looking card. You know, right now Kingambit is not super popular, but I think it's going to be pretty popular down the road. I mean, it's the evolution of Bisharp, and Bisharp is it's a pretty cool Pokemon, aesthetically pleasing. So for guys, I think a lot of people like Bisharp. Kingambit looks pretty cool too, but this card does have a 38% gem rate, so it's going to be kind of hard to get in the tag 10. So consider that if you have multiple copies, or you see random copies out there in the wild, maybe consider picking it up. It has a low gem rate, it's a promo card, it has a lot of good things going for it, not to mention it's part of Shrouded Fable, and Shrouded Fable was not liked, but their promo cards are pretty good. And honestly, Shrouded Fable, low tier, pretty good. Their art is fantastic. Now, one of my favorite illustrators that kind of came into the scene during this big boom, or during the Scarlet and Violet era, is going to be Tetsukayama. I like Tetsukayama cards because he does like little pointillism art. So I sent a Ninjask. So this Ninjask came back as a tag 9. And you know what? I was honestly kind of surprised because this was one of the random pull cards that I got. And I'm like, why? But I'm an idiot, right? There's no best way to putting it outside than I'm a freaking idiot when it came to this card. Because I hate when I do this. Please don't do this. Please have someone else look at them. And like, get some friends in this hobby, grade with friends in the hobby, and like have other eyes, quality control eyes, so you're not just grading stupid, right? But the Ninjask came back as a 9, and this card has a 77% gem rate. And it makes sense. 77% for a Japanese card, you know, that's kind of like on average. It has a good gem rate. These should be kind of like automatic 10s, almost. At 77%, it's pretty high up there. There are 5 pristine 10 copies out there, but why did mine come back as a 9? Well, freaking print line, dude, right down in the middle. And I tell my friends always, it's like, whenever you guys are picking up cards and you guys are going to grade some of the light color cards, it's like, make sure for like surface scratches and print lines, those will come out. You will see them. So that's what happened. Like, the Ninjas came with a print line, so that's unfortunate. Now, for this card, I like Cosmo cards. I think Cosmo cards are going to be the closest things that we're going to get to vintage cards. And what I mean is just like half art cards with swirls. It's the Cosmo cards, the Cosmo promo cards are the closest things that we get to like the old vintage cards with swirls. So there's a niche collecting into this, and I like collecting Cosmo cards. My favorite Pokemon of all time is Arcanine. I love me that good boy, Arcanine. One of my friends for Christmas got me the 3-pack blister from Scarlet and Violet, which has Arcanine. Now, kind of an asshole, because he didn't get me one with a swirl, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Honestly, it was very thoughtful. He asked me which one's my favorite Pokemon. Boom, he hit me with this one, and honestly, I loved it. I opened it up, I inspected it, and I already knew that this card wasn't gonna come back as a 10. However, that doesn't change the fact that it's a gift from a friend of my favorite Pokemon. So of course I'm gonna get it graded, and it's gonna be part of my collection. Now, the Arcanine came back as a tag 8. This card does have a 26% chance rate of coming back as a 10. Now, I'm telling you this Later on, you guys will find out as tag continues in popularity and more people grade with tag, these Cosmo Holo cards are going to have a very low population, right? Because not a lot of people like them, not a lot of people know what they are, and not a lot of people are collecting them. If they are, they're looking for a swirl. Hardcore collectors will get those swirled cards, Cosmo cards graded, and they're going to be very, very hard to get as a 10. Their packaging is horrible. Their centering is usually off. And the Cosmo swirl, like the Cosmo pattern that they use on the background, easily scratches. So you will see surface issues with these cards. For a tag 8, we saw multiple things wrong with this card. But nonetheless, that's my favorite Pokemon. It's going to be in my collection. And you'll probably see it as a microphone from now on. Now, the last card, this one was a throwaway. It was another promo card. It was another Cosmo Swirl cards because I'm going to be adding those into my collections. And the swirl card that I picked was Bellibolt. It has a swirl underneath its eye, and it's Bellibolt from Temporal Forces. Now, I know this card is not going to be popular at all whatsoever, especially even when it comes to grading. There's another person out there, because this card has only been graded twice. And there's another person who probably sent this card for grading, probably has a swirl too, right? And it came back it came back as a 9. Their copy came back as a 9. My copy came back as a 9, meaning that there is 0 tag 10s out there. There are 0 pristine 10s out there. Right now, the current gem rate for this card when it comes to tag rating, it's 0, right? But it makes sense, I'm telling you. Cosmo Swirl cards, even for modern Pokemon, like, if you guys see them out in the wild, know which ones they are, buy them, and hold them on the side. I feel like the Cosmo Swirl cards and the blisters and tech sticker collections and all this stuff is going to be highly slept on down in the road, right? Because no one's paying attention to this stuff. No one's talking about them. Why would they? They're half-art cards with swirls. But there's going to be some big money behind those cards. There's going to be some decent money behind those cards. So really consider about it. Especially, these are cards that collectors get. If you have, by any chance, you get a tag 10 or pristine Cosmo Swirl card, a collector will pay money for those cards. Especially as the hobby continues to grow. Because at this point, I'm convinced the hobby will never die. It won't die. It could possibly crash, but I don't think it's going to die, right? And as more people collect, more people are going to start paying attention to different things, kind of like a lot more people are starting to get away from PSA and go to other grading companies. The same thing is going to happen with cards. Some people are going to get away from modern cards and they're going to be with very niche and collecting things. And that's what makes this hobby extremely beautiful. So, yeah. F the tag bolt, or sorry, that Bellibolt. It came back as a 9. But yeah, so look, I'll be completely honest. If you made it this far, thank you. Not every single one of these were graded in PSAs. The Oricorio EX wasn't a PSA. I went ahead and like that one I traded for, and I really wanted to get in my collection. So that one wasn't. Arceus, Celebi, Ninetales, Kingambit. They were. Ninjask was a fresh pull. Arcanine was a gift. And Bellibolt is part of my PC. So, out of the cards that I cracked, only one of them was a PSA 9 and that got upgraded to a tag 10. Now, that was also a Japanese card. So, and this is like the second time that's happened, where a PSA 9, a Japanese PSA 9 has gone to a tag 10. Now, I've also been able to convert a couple CGCs 8.5 into tag 10s. And if you want to see more of that stuff, please like the video. Please like it, just support it. Show me, let me know that you guys want to see that. But look, if you're looking to make some money on a tag, just know that it's going to get hard. It's going to get hard. Because getting 10s, it's going to be hard. If you have a PSA 9 and you're thinking about regrading with tag, I'm going to tell you, do whatever you want. Grade whatever cards that you want. But if you're looking to increase the value of your cards, do cards that make sense. go with English Pokemon cards. Focus a little bit more on promotional cards or chase cards, SAR cards too, right? If you have some of those and you have those in PSA 9s, maybe consider cracking those and then going with tag, right? Japanese, there's not much upsides. I do feel like Japanese has a better gem rate, but when it comes to grading with tag, you're not, I don't know if you really should be chasing a high gem rate as a grader or as a casual. I think the best thing that you should do, especially if you're not sure if you're going to be in this hobby forever, you grade the cards that have the biggest upside, so whenever you want to get out of it, you get more out of this hobby rather than just a $5, $10, or $15 slab. You could potentially sell that card for a couple $100, couple $100, and the only way you're really going to do that is going with English cards. If you have Japanese cards, fantastic to you. You're one of us, you know, one of the few, the prouds. But make sure that your collections make sense. The Ninetales makes sense. The Venusaur makes sense for me, because they're part of my Gen 1 Pokédex. I want to get, boom, an entry for every single Pokemon in my Pokédex, whether if it's in illustration rare or an art rare or, you know, the higher above. It doesn't matter. But I want to do my Gen 1 first and then move on to Gen 2. So if you have a goal like that, you know, then really do it. But don't just send anything for grading, because then you're going to have a bad taste whenever you get a tag 9 and there's not much upside on that card either. So think about that before you do it. Always also grade and try to get the 1,000-point system on it. I do feel like they're a little bit more forgiving in some of these cards. So if you have some of those, don't cheap out. Don't go with the bulk grading. Pay a little bit of a premium. Try 2 or 3 cards. Have your friends convince, see if you can do another card with one of your friends, and have like at least a 5-card submission with the 1,000-point system. Outside from that, the next video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my friends' cards, Chris and Roberts. Like I said, it was a 23-card submission. I'm going to talk about their cards, and they sent some bangers, but they also sent cards that have extremely low gem rates. And, you know, whenever you send cards with extremely low gem rates, you're going to get wrecked. And guess what? They got wrecked. We all got wrecked. But this is fun. Like, it's fun. So if you guys want to see that, if you want to see other people get wrecked and tag grading so you don't feel bad about yourself, then maybe consider hitting the like button, subscribing, you know, dropping a comment. You know, outside from that, I really hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Peace.